Welcome, Japanese woodblock print collectors and enthusiasts. Today we're going to explore one of the greats of ukiyo-e, an artist that set the bar for beautiful women pictures, also known as bijin-ga. Over his career he produced over 2,000 prints, and like Hiroshige, Kunisada, and Hokusai, he was one of the few artists that actually became famous during his lifetime. His name was Kitagawa Utamaro. The man that became Utamaro was born in 1753, and his work began to appear in the 1770s. We don't know much about his early life. His father may have been a tea shop owner or an artist, and we don't have any records of his marriage or children. Utamaro became a student of Seki-en, who described him as bright and devoted to art. Interesting fact is that Seki-en wasn't known for prints of beautiful women. He was known for his yokai, or monster illustrations. Another student of Seki-en was Eishosai Choki, and like Utamaro, Choki is also known for his pictures of beautiful women, often with atmospheric backgrounds. Another important artist that influenced Utamaro around that time was Tori Kiyonaga, and he was the successor to Harunobu, the OG of bijin-ga. So for those of you that are keeping score, Kiyonaga replaced Harunobu as the most popular bijin-ga artist, and later Kiyonaga was replaced by Utamaro. And I know it gets confusing, so here's a rough timeline so you can see the dates these artists lived. At the top, Toriyama Seki-en, the teacher of Utamaro and Choki, and under them Kiyonaga, who had a different teacher but focused on the same genre, and under him Harunobu, the first major bijin-ga artist. In the 1780s, Utamaro teamed up with Japan's most famous publisher of that time, Tsutaya Juzaburo. And here's a print by Hokusai from 1802 of Tsutaya's ukiyo-e shop. Wouldn't it be amazing to visit that shop? I think that's him on the right side in the yellow kimono. In fact, around 1783, Utamaro went to live with Tsutaya for about 5 years and was a principal artist for his publishing firm. One of Utamaro's earliest publishing successes was the picture book of crawling creatures from 1788, where each 2-page spread shows 2 types of insects and various plants. In these early prints, we can see the elegance and fluidity of his line work and the balanced compositions. Another genre that Utamaro dabbled in was shunga, or erotic art. This print is from a book called Utamakura, or Poems of the Pillow, from 1788. This book of 12 prints sold for $440,000 at Christie's in 2005. And this is one of the more tame images. You can see the attention to detail in the fabric, and take a close look at this passionate kiss. You can see his open eye blending in with her hairstyle, and the detail of the hairs on the nape of her neck standing up. It's an amazing sensual composition. Starting in the 1790s, Utamaro concentrated on making single portraits of women, displayed in half-length poses, rather than the prints of women in groups, which was the style preferred by other ukiyo-e artists. Let's take a look at some of his famous print series of bijin-ga. The print we're looking at now sold at Christie's for $211,000 in 1993, and I imagine it's worth a lot more now. It's from the series 7 Women in Front of Mirrors. This print is called Naniwa Okita, admiring herself in a mirror. And she was the star waitress of a tea house. This print represents one of his earliest okubi bijin-ga, or big-headed beautiful women. Not because this woman had a big head, but because the portrait style emphasized the upper torso, face, and facial features. In this print, you can see many of the elements that defined Utamaro's style: the economy of the thin, flowing line work, the narrow almond-shaped eyes, long nose, the small red heart-shaped lips. The detail, especially in the hairstyle, the flowing fabrics, and the attention to the balance of the composition. And to top everything off, the printing techniques that his publisher used were of the highest quality. Mica powder was added to the backgrounds of many of his prints to give them a luxurious metallic shimmering effect. Now let's go to 1792, where we have his series, The 10 Types of Women's Physiognomies. This means depictions of types of women. Many artists used the physiognomy theme to create print series of different types of personalities, and Utamaro considered himself an expert in this genre. In this print, we see a carefree young woman blowing a poppin, which is a glass toy. Look at the curves on that beautiful red checkered kimono that move our gaze up her arm to her lips. You can also see the patina of the silver mica background that's been worn away over the years. Here's another from that series called Uwaki no So. This is a young woman returning from a bath. She's supposed to represent the trendy type of woman. Even though she's not dressed in fine clothes, she looks gorgeous and elegant. And one more from this series of a woman reading a letter, probably a love letter. You can tell she's a married woman because her eyebrows are shaved and her teeth are blackened. The next series we'll see is called Anthology of Poems, the Love Section. This is from 1793. In this O-kubi series, he tries to express the inner emotional states of his subjects. Here is Mono Omoi Koi, or Wistful Love. She seems to be lost in some emotional memory. Her facial expressions and pose really communicate her inner feelings. And check out her hairstyle with that translucent layers of hair, plus the beautiful pattern on the kimono. And this print called Ara Waruru Koi, or Obvious Love. The subject looks confident and happy. Her hair is a bit disheveled as she's fixing herself. Her kimono is loose, and perhaps she's talking with a lover off to the side. Now, here's something I never thought I'd say on video. Now let's see some prostitutes. The series 5 Shades of Ink in the Northern Quarter from 1794 focuses on the different types of women that work in the pleasure district, or Yoshiwara. The first one is the highest ranking oiran. These are the women that were usually hostesses, and they had their own attendants. In this print, the oiran is writing a letter to a client while her hair dries. The next type is Kiri no Musume. This is a lower ranked prostitute who charges for the length of time she's with a customer. She has a simple but happy expression on her face. She's wearing a plain kimono and crumpling a letter in her hands. Finally, the lowest type of prostitute is one that would work outside the main gates of the Yoshiwara. You can tell immediately by her sour expression she's less refined. This woman is a bit disheveled, picking her teeth. Her breast is exposed, which doesn't seem to concern her, and she carries a red and green perfume pouch slung over her shoulder. We will stay in the Yoshiwara for our next series titled 12 Hours in Yoshiwara. 12 hours or 24 hours was also a common theme that artists used to create a series of prints because it provides a structure where you can make a print for each hour. These are full body prints rather than the close-up or kubi style prints we've been looking at. And here we can see another important artistic convention that Utamaro used. That would be the exaggerated height of these women. Utamaro's convention of female beauty was 9 to 10 heads tall. The average real-life woman is 7 heads tall. And if you want to throw a vintage Barbie into the mix, you can see how unrealistic the proportions are. This print is titled U no Koku, or The Hour of the Rabbit. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. You can see she's getting up and preparing for her day. Next, I'm jumping ahead to Saru no Koku, or The Hour of the Monkey, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Even though these are full body poses, we can still recognize Utamaro's expert use of line, color, and composition in his depiction of female beauty. This is I no Koku, or The Hour of the Pig, about 10 o'clock in the evening. The woman at the left sits perfectly erect, carrying a guest's saucer. In front of her, her young assistant with a teapot appears to be dozing off. It's a simple scene, but the composition is impeccably balanced. Next, I want to show you this famous triptych from 1797 of abalone divers. This was a traditional woman's job. Unlike the elegant courtesans we've been viewing, these women are not tall and graceful. They have working class bodies, and they are involved in the hard work of diving for abalone. Yet Utamaro still makes them look nuanced and beautiful. In 1804, there was increased censorship, and Utamaro was arrested and manacled for 50 days, along with other artists and authors. We think he offended the authorities by identifying historical figures in inappropriate situations, like in this print of the daimyo Hideyoshi, who is shown suggestively holding the hand of his male page. Utamaro died 2 years after his release from jail in 1806. The only portrait I know of him is this rather unflattering painting done by Eishi in 1815. At least it looks like he was a friendly, happy guy. Utamaro had a number of pupils. Tsukimaro was probably the best known. Here's one of his prints that he produced in his master's style. One of Utamaro's students, Koikawa Shuncho, married Utamaro's widow and took the name Utamaro II, or Utamaro II. Here is an example of one of his prints. During the golden age of ukiyo-e, Utamaro created a new type of female beauty. He was able to tease out subtle emotions in the expressions and the poses of his subjects. His works are considered the finest and most evocative bijinga in all of Japanese woodblock prints. I hope you've enjoyed this brief exploration of Kitagawa Utamaro. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, happy collecting.